My dad's had a very successful sales career. I remember early on, because you got to be a bit of a chameleon. You got to be able to change colors, and you got to walk into a room and take interest in somebody, because that's where you're going to establish ground. You're going to establish a relationship. Entry into a topic of conversation that isn't business related, that now you're starting off on a personal side. Now you're taking interest in them.
We call his dad Mantis. The one thing that Mantis does have, he has the best one-liners on the planet, and he can break a room down with them from the start.
He can sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves, I swear.
Yeah, and I'll give you an example. When Doug started here, his dad walks by and goes, "Hey, Doug, make sales or make room." Hey everybody, welcome back. Never in Reverse podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Axel, co-host Doug Cox out in central God's country, Oregon.
That's right. Not much, man. How's it going there?
Man, just living the dream, man. Getting some good weather finally, getting ready for that spring vibration.
Oh, stop. There's still snow and stuff coming. Yeah.
Oh, no. It's
you
not,
and I both. I mean, it's you get a little teaser, that spring's coming like this, and then next thing you know, here comes a foot of snow.
Did you go white on white?
Hey, nice. Yeah.
We're looking good.
Yeah. Looks real good.
Your biceps are nice and swole, dude. Look at those things. You must have the gym.
You look like you need a meal, skinny.
Buddy. Don't
How many
hate.
pounds are you off from your college fighting weight?
Don't hate, buddy. Celebrate.
Oh, gosh. Here we go. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to it, man. No, it's everything's good, man. I'm ready for spring. I'm ready to get.
I know. Get back outside.
Oh, I'm just
Cabin
ready.
fever's real.
It's coming hot.
Yeah. Well, we got trade show season coming up, and a lot of things moving and shaking. It's all good though.
One thing on the swag, man. I've got a few requests that people want some swag. We might have to start selling it, guys. If you guys want it, drop some comments. Let us know if you'd like us to start offering that. Might not be a bad idea.
I love the hats.
Well, that arrow's the only thing that keeps you moving forward.
Oh, geez.
Huh?
Yeah, moving forward. I wish you come with a mute button.
But there's a mouse on the other side. He can turn that noise down.
Exactly.
No, but guys, thanks for following us, guys. I don't even know what episode we're on, but much more consistent further than I thought we could get. So kudos to
work in progress. For having that.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a journey. But no, thanks to everyone for following us. We appreciate you guys joining us. If you guys want to get notifications, like and subscribe on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Doug says TikTok is now back. It came back from the dark after I thought it was gone.
Well, when you have two teenage daughters, if TikTok goes down, it's a 3-alarm fire.
World War II. So our team put together this week a topic of, we're going to switch a little bit. We get personal because we want you guys to get to know us. We want to show that we're capable and willing to get vulnerable to you guys and understand that we're here to build solid relationships, and we want an awesome community that allows, personal growth, not only professional. Exactly. So, but we're going to pivot today to more of a business mindset around, and I think we can kind of blend this into just overall life, but the power of networking. We're going to kind of use that key element. I used to kind of run and gun myself and I know the power of the network is important. And I didn't, early on in my career, I didn't know how important. I just I was a sales guy, and you're on an island a lot of times, and you're just running and gunning and making calls and trying
to sell. Opportunity, turning over rocks. Yep.
I look back now, and I look back where we're at, you and I, and I'm like, man, the power of a referral. Oh,
relationships. It's building
the relationships. Is so powerful. Yeah. And we'll go through some stuff that you and I have experienced in the last few years.
Yes,
what that means. But early on in your career, man, I'm running and gunning. I don't need that stuff. Yeah, I think the authenticity around the relationship for me was like, it was a staple of, I know that you kind of do similar things to me. You might run into some stuff that I need. Let's pass some data on. And that was kind of it. It just sat there instead of building a real deep relationship.
A community. networking there's different elements to it. There's different approaches. And I remember even early on in my sales career when I was selling telecommunication services, business services for a cable company, and it was new at the time. And we were encouraged to join, remember the coffee, like networking groups? I can't remember the titles of them, but it was always like,
what they call it? You had the, oh my gosh, you had the,
it was like World something. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, where you would meet with these folks and then you'd share your story, what you sell, what you provide,
you had to
and
get up,
everybody, kind of round robin the thing. It just was, it never gained any traction. I'm going, you know what, this isn't the right networking avenue for me because I feel like
Toastmasters.
Yes. Yep.
One was Toastmasters, and then there was another one that was like, and they wanted you to pay like $350. Cap.
It was, yeah.
So here's the deal. Early on, though, you got your blinders on, man. You're running and gunning. You're trying to find your way in this crazy world, and I look back, and the power of that was the lack thereof guidance. I don't think the leadership in my role was giving me the correct data to use their years of advancement in terms of, well, they'd never have done it in the right way, or sometimes industries don't even offer that because people don't want to hear from another. My first job was slinging copiers. They don't want to hear from another copier guy or another telecom guy. Dude, your phone system makes the same tone that the other guys does, and your color on your ink is probably made in the same place the other guys, right? So they don't want to hear from another guy. So I think it's all
unless you had some real advantages, you had some real selling points, and that's
no, you don't really. I look at the value. Just they didn't really. It's not as much as. I mean, I think it's transitioned a lot, and that both those industries are dynamically different from when I started.
Yeah.
Same. It's like it's give it another 5 years. I don't know if that. I mean, it's going to be even different. I mean, the print copier stuff on the it's going down.
That's a way of the dinosaur.
Shifting into server cloud functions, and it's going to be a whole different play, But going back to the networking thing, I think I'll just jump into I went early on in my career, and I was like, I'm going to build a network, and I built some pretty good friendships along the way, but I didn't really understand, and I wasn't mature enough to build a real authentic, personalized business relationship. It was like a transactional relationship, meaning like not we're getting deals together, but not creating some sound structure from being really good friends and doing things outside and outside of
you were looking for the transaction.
We just don't know, right? You're just like, I'm supposed to do this. So they tell me to go build a network thing. So I meet once a week, and here we are. And then honestly, what I saw is I don't even think in a few years, maybe I got a couple of deals. It was just like, you're exactly right. And all this time and energy and hoping to work together because it's kind of like an extension of you.
But our measurement, in our matrix, I mean, all it mattered was the scorecard at the end of the pay period or the end of the commissionable period. It was like, where's the numbers at? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, if you're out there networking, is it fruitful? Or are you banging on enough? All that mattered to management, especially in those two industries, is what revenue you generate. 100%. It wasn't about depth of relationships. It wasn't about any of that. It was show me the money.
I think it was the lack there of leadership, because what I found this is the lack of leadership of the middle layer management. And if you're getting into your career and you're a young guy going into sales or whatever your career, going back like we did the last episode, if I could go back to my early part of my career, I'd do it way differently.
100%.
I would peel back knowing that I'm going to be dedicated but not over dedicated to the sales calls. I would be more intentional and grounded to the relationships around people that are like-minded and get to know them and understand them more and really build on relationship, because the law of masses, what I've found, especially in our organization, is the power of the people is bigger than you can imagine. And when you find that and you can shake hands about that and be loyal to that, not just a dollar, it gets great. If you start self-servicing just that dollar, they can feel it. They're going to know it. I see
they know their transaction. They know it's a sale. There isn't any any relationship intention.
Say it's networking. I think that term is just that. I think that's what it was, is that the networking term is like speed dating. I would never even call it networking again. I would say
dating.
I mean, dude, if you think about it,
it's funny. It's true. Speed dating.
I mean, well, yeah, you've been on those things before.
Oh, Easy Tender or whatever it is. Yeah.
And you hit Lindsay, and you went, oh, deer in headlights. I found her.
Oh, yeah. Put a ring on.
Doug's wife's blonde, and he loves blondies. So there you go.
Yeah.
Put a blonde in front of him, and there, it's all done. But no, but back to that. I mean, if I went back, man, strictly relationships. Slow down.
100%.
Quality over quantity. Time versus no time. And I would focus. I would have found high-level people doing high-level things, and I would say, I want mentors, I want to learn, I want to be part of your network, and I would slow down and be part of that.
Right. And then again, you're going to find with that relationship, they're going to wind up being an ambassador, you know, and speaking to you, because when people talk business, they talk business, and they talk about relationships and experiences and who they've worked with and who they trust. And if you can establish that and build that, you know, in a relationship wholeheartedly with a customer, that's going to provide more long-term value than just going to a dang coffee clatter or, you know, showing up on the Friday, you know, 1 hour meeting, passing cards around. And this is what I do.
You need a plumber up there telling you about networking. The dude ain't gonna give you. He's not. There's the intertwined relationship doesn't. It's not even there. It's not. And it's hard. It's such this weird thing. I think it's this. If myself now would go back, I'd say, listen, I'm gonna take the top 5 people that I can find that have 15 to 20 years experience, whether it's a mentor, someone in the same position me for a competitor, someone that can help me, and in turn, maybe I can bring some value to them, and hopefully there's some mutual benefit, not from a business standpoint, but just from an interrelation. I would work for the mentorship first, and then I would grow myself, and then I would seek deeper relationships. I wouldn't go running a gun like they want you to. Go network, all they're looking for, quick buck, low-hanging fruit, nothing of substance, churn and burn, hit your commission, or hit your quota, and what else you got. That's all I felt. Looking back now, I'm like, man.
But that was service-based industry too, you know, where in this, you know, you sell them and you stick them, right? And I remember in telecom, the lifespan you know, we had a business consultant when I was with a communications group early on, and they came in and evaluated what the average lifespan of a customer was 5 to 7 years, you know. But, you know, you're selling a service. We're here, I mean, we're providing quality goods.
And solutions and...
Yeah, and equipment and big investments, long-term investments, you know, where the sales dynamic and the approach is much different in this industry than those. And I mean, they're different in any industry, but again, it's back to the old God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? I mean, it's getting in there, it's listening, it's taking interest, it's, you know, asking the questions, figuring out where the problems are, unraveling, peeling the layers of the onion back to figure out where you, in the position of the good, the service that you sell and provide, that can be a benefit for that potential customer. And then again, where you provide an experience to where they can go, you know what? You ever get in a situation, you give this guy a call, they're fantastic to work with. That's what you're reaching for.
And outside of sales, just to peel the onion back, like for just people that are maybe early on operations, wherever they're going, I think the power of the time, like spend the right time with the right people and less of it, and learn. Slow down. You know, in sales, it's hard because we're just quota. If I looked outside of that, you're an introvert, you're an extrovert, whatever you are, push yourselves. If you're an introvert, push yourself. Find someone that's been in your role. Get online, find forums, find outside a mentor, find people that can, a coach that can get you to the next side of what your ambitions and goals are that maybe match your skill set, your desires, or your, you know, all that stuff. So just
it can help you navigate it. Yeah.
But don't go out. I don't think we need to go out and network 100% right away. I think you should, early on in your career, you should be picking a couple people doing great things in your role and learn. And
Learning, sharpening your tools.
Don't go out and try to be everything to everyone right away and think you're going to be the president of 3M the next day, right? Like that guy's he's got years and years of sharpening his sword.
Yep.
And doing the
Exactly.
same thing and learning how to lead. I would go back and I'd find a great leader that has people that actually honor that person, and I would ask to mirror him for a very long time.
Yep. If there's other people looking up to him, there's a reason why, you know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but we're gonna take a quick break, guys. Probably give us a little bit of time. We're gonna jump off here, but in the interim, if you guys want to, what have you guys done to network? You know, what did you do early on in your career, depending on where you're at in your life cycle of that, to help
tactics, what approach, what worked for you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I always love to take people's nuggets and put it in my toolbox.
It's better learning from someone else's experience than going through the same thing twice, right? So share your comments below, guys. Go to YouTube, subscribe, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. You can find us there. Yeah, we'd love to learn from you guys. But let us take a quick break, guys, and we'll see you guys here in just a minute. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Never in Reverse. Thanks for joining us after the break. We are going to dive back into professional relationships. So kind of in that term of like overall the power of networking, what that means. We're going to try to keep off the kind of key term topics, but just kind of give some perspective of some things that Doug and I've gone through and help you maybe cut some corners, right? Like that's what it's about. Sharpen your blade faster instead of just navigating this complexity of life. It's changed a lot. Doug and I are getting a lot older in life. I got gray hair. He's bald. So
I'm wiser.
Yeah, exactly. The wisdom. Anyone that's got gray hair, man, you're winning. You're up. You got a leg up. But no, so Doug, we're going to dive into the professional relationships and the things that we should focus on, you know, from your time early on. You know, I know you had some great mentors early on. You shared some stories with me.
Yeah.
And good for you. And I'm going to go back and I got to give some kudos to a guy that I kind of ran over early on in my career, but let's dive into that with you and just the power of that professional relationship and having a solid mentor and what that means to, I guess, work on the relational side of things to work well in a B2B environment or whatever. So give me some things about your relationships early on from your personal mentors.
No, and I've had a few along the way. And I mean, first and foremost, you know, my dad's had a very successful sales career, you know, and we talk about even from a young age and many different situational circumstances, but I remember early on when I got out of college and I went into sales, and my dad goes, if you really want to get into the sales realm, he goes, you got to be a bit of a chameleon. You got to be able to adapt. You got to be able to change colors, and you got to walk into a room and take interest in somebody, because that's where you're going to establish ground. You're going to establish a relationship. And I'll never forget it. He goes, if you walk into somebody's office and you see a sailboat, what does that tell you? That guy has an interest in sailboats. Maybe he likes to sail, maybe he likes time on the water, but now you got an entry into a topic of conversation that isn't business related, that now you're starting off on a personal side. You're taking interest. Oh, sailboat. Is that your boat, or do you have a sailboat? Now you're taking interest in them, right? Rather than you get the guy that comes in and it's sales first. Guess what? He's the first one out the door. You know, next. No. But I mean, there were a lot of educational pieces from him. You know, there were number of others that he had worked with that were in his social network that would come over for dinner. And my brother and I, at a young age, we sat down with those and we were part of the conversation. My dad made us part of the conversation, you know, with these other people in business.
Consider to start the habit early. The only thing is we call his dad Mantis.
Yeah.
The one thing that Mantis does have, he has the best one-liners on the planet, and he can break a room down with them from the start. And
he can sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves. I swear. The guy is good.
your dad just knows how to give people a comfort, and he makes them.
And he's personable, and that's what good salespeople are. They're personable. They take interest.
And I'll give you an example. When Doug started here, he got scared of the I call it digit 1 on the phone, but he was scared of that. Anyways, Doug was making some calls. His dad walks by and goes, "Hey, Doug, make sales or make room."
Yeah,
I was like, that is all fun.
That's it. That's it. Make sales or make room. Yeah.
Kind of guy is. You had a good leader from like that side of things, but just Doug, I'll go. My first career was selling, copiers and technology, and Mark Sales was my the leader of his. It was a startup organization. It was grind, man. We didn't even have a CRM. I managed all my contacts in Outlook. Anyways, I just look back to his patience and his guidance and what he did to pour into the salespeople. Now he had his motivations, looking back, then align with me and my value propositions, because I would say that the continual approach to change and make it harder for salespeople wasn't what I believe in. I believe in we all are here to do this together and we rise together, not discrepancy. There was some disconnection, but I'll tell you what he did do for me. He taught me a ton about sales. He showed me the whole cycle of running a business. It's skills that I still fully understand today, plus more, obviously, as you advance in your career. Patience, complex sales cycles, CapEx equipment, all this stuff. And he gave me a lot of tools. And I was a hot mess inside emotionally. So I just, all these things going on. He just kind of grounded me a lot, and always stayed patient. So that guy really mentored me in my sales career. I just realized there was a ceiling, and to be honest with you, partially their style, partially me not being able to necessarily handle the corporate infrastructure a lot. I don't do well in that. It's not my style. I'm like the running and gunning. There's no limitations. So let's push. When there's a lot of guardrails around me, I don't function well.
Thrive well in that environment. Yeah. No, and a lot of good salespeople don't, and that's why they toggle, they move, they shift, because you see it in corporations where, good, successful salespeople, they always get peeled on later on, right? And the moment the good ones feel that they're getting peeled on, they're going to go find, the right vehicle that's going to get them to where they want to go in their career.
Yeah, but I think just going in the sales career, if you take that running and gunning, all-stars are the biggest, pain in the ass. Yep. They're the hardest people to deal with. They're the most successful. Knowing that about myself and about you, what I would do differently I would focus on more authentic relationships, and that's hard to do because a lot of middle layer management, they're faking it till they make it. They're just a barrier. They don't allow authenticity. Stay in your lane. So it's kind of this hard thing.
I would run with it.
I'd find an environment, if I was to go back, that allowed me to have self-expression within a policy that was better for everyone besides the ownership or the leadership, but it was better for the team. I would, if I could go back and find an instance of that, that's what I would focus on. Do they match me from a constraint standpoint, or are they going down an avenue that they think they know and there's no other views? Do they allow you to have a voice? Does it matter? Do they listen? Do they care? Do they,
because you're in the trenches every day.
Every day.
Every day.
And you're driving the revenue, man. You're, my style is sales first. That's it. Like, salespeople, me, I am one. That's what we do.
Well, it's your DNA. I mean, and it's the heartbeat of an organization, in a lot of cases, but with the right intention. We're not just here to churn and burn. We're here to build lasting relationships and support of, and that's what's really fun about the industry that we're in, and they're great people that are out there, and it's taking interest in them and finding better ways to support them than maybe their current vendor or supplier, and, finding real, authentic ways to connect and interest, to where, gosh, there's a customer back in New York. He's an outdoorsy guy, and we hit it off, loves to hunt and fish. Well, he's sending me pictures of, the deer he harvested this last year. And I mean, that's what it's about.
Well, and I think, Doug, here's the deal. Like, there's been a couple times in my career where people have asked me to do something that doesn't align with me in my ethics, like from a political standpoint, meaning like the pecking order. You had the guy that's sitting on the sideline trying to do the pecking order, kissing butt. That's not my style. My style is like, proof in the pudding. Let's do it together. I don't need the fluff. I don't need the middle layer management approach. I don't need to tell me to one thing and then go behind closed doors and do one thing, which happened to you in your career.
Oh yeah.
Like, if we're not going to do it, just tell me now. Don't fake it and then talk crap. Like, just do the thing. If you know where you're going and you're an open book with that, it's easy.
And but what you see is what you get.
If you want to pretend to do something, and then on the backside, you're basically making people the feel good motion. I mean, like, just be. You guys know where we're going. You know exactly where I'm taking this, and I'm not a closed book. I'm like, listen, if there's a better way to slice it, put the work in to show me, and let's go do it.
Have at it. Yeah.
I don't care. It has nothing to do with me, know. But we got to use the thinking of that. So that political versus real. Be authentic. Always be authentic to yourself, so that you live a life of authenticity, no matter what the agenda is. Don't be fake. Like, go home and sleep well at night. That's my thinking.
Exactly.
Like, the thing that's hard, that I think that we struggle with in our society, in our careers, is that the career advancement people are typically the ones that aren't authentic.
No, they find it, you see the differences in personality when they're around the people that they're trying to persuade, or and then when they're away from that environment and what they look like outside of it, they don't match. And in the corporations and the environments, and some of them that I've worked in, I've seen those personalities, I've seen those tactics, and it's just, to me, it's sickening, because that's not me. I'm not going to fake it to make it, right? What you see is what you get out of me.
You're going to have short-term wins, man, but when you see that, like, you see these people over there, I'm just going to call it kissing ass, and behind closed doors, it doesn't align with what they're saying. And
no, doesn't match.
And you're over there hustling. But then on the flip side, it's like, have a leader that can see that, because I know it. Like, when someone on our team starts being weird, I'm like, listen, I stopped, dude. I don't even let it happen. This isn't how we do it. We'll never politic here. We're here to do it as a team. We're all equal. I'm a level playing field. There might be some rules of engagement, but don't make me babysit. And we'll do this together.
Yeah.
If we start babysitting, there's going to be a tier of command of I'm going to put a perspective of view from me or someone on our team that's going to make you feel that wrath. And I was talking to someone about this the other day. It's like, man, when someone asks me a question that they're not really dialed in with themselves, or you're feeling more like, hey, Axe, I need to tap out, dude. I want you to tap out with yourself, because you know yourself better than me, and I don't need to ask you if you're tired. You don't need permission, because you're a grown man. You got and that's what I've always envisioned this team to be, is the team of self
motivators, accountability.
No, they are. The person that doesn't have that perspective doesn't know who they are, and they're always seeking approval. I don't need that.
No,
we don't need that. A lot of us seeking, but anyways, so for us on the career side of advancement, I'll tell you, like, I know I've hurt myself in my career advancement, but I look back and I was always authentic.
You don't sidestep it, right? It's like, if there's a problem or I see something, you put it out there, or we put it out there. You get the other ones that, they'll see them sidestep it or excuse to it or something to keep the bullseye off them. Own it.
Yeah, it's the best thing on the planet. And I think you're seeing that. I mean, this is probably truly the first environment that you've had where you could truly do that, and it's not going to be coming at it's not going to hurt you. It's just going to actually help you, right? It's something
there's no song and dance here.
Nope.
It's our culture is true and authentic. And if you got something on your mind or a problem, let's address it. Let's get it out there. Let's take care of it. Let's talk about it. Where you get into, like you say, these layers of management, and your voice can only go so far in a lot of cases. But And it's sad because when the salespeople are the ones that are out on the front lines and they're bringing back intel, information, or ideas of how to better compete in a space or a market, and the others are just going, stay in your lane, stay there, just generate numbers, focus on that. For us, it's like, if we find a better widget and that widget can come into play, let's try it. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, and I think just for viewers though, like, be authentic, always be yourself, grow yourself. Don't hold yourself back from where you should be, because if there's things that can impact you that you're not showing up as the best version of yourself. But to get to me, if I went back to my early years to where I am now, what I would have done differently is just worked a lot on myself to understand that there's a better way to do it with your, like, the better way to be yourself. You don't have to be so, I guess, volatile, or just, you don't have to always come out in an angry manner. You can present things differently. Like, I still have those limitations at times, right? Like, but then I'm also like, yeah, you're right, dude. Like, I can understand that about me, but I would go back and I would work on that. But I wouldn't
be a sponge. Be a sponge.
I wouldn't be unauthentic. I would, if I can't be myself in a situation that I can be real. If something happens and I can't call that to the front, it's not a good fit for me, and that's okay. But some people can do well in that. But I'd go back and network. I would network with power, and I wouldn't do it as a leg up. I do it to be really authentic and be genuine to people, because people can see through that the guys that are just trying to get up the pecking order. But being authentic and doing the work for the career advancement, it might not. If you're in, this is what I think. If your intentions match your intentionality and where you're going, that takes a lot longer, and it's a lot more powerful than the guy that's taking it till he makes it to get to the next side, gets it. They get in there and they realize that his intentionality doesn't meet what is required.
What we saw on the way up here is not the same example.
Yep.
No.
Because he hasn't done the work.
No.
So just know that your career advancement might not be you outside perspective. If you're doing the work, you might not see the direct results of the work, but over time, I think you're going to see the long-lasting
reward.
Reward and leverage in yourself and where you're heading. And it might not match what you're projected when you think, but it's just like network, work on yourself, be patient.
And surround yourself with I always used to kind of gravitate, to the successful people, that were in a like position as mine. May it be a different industry, but sales is sales, but what are their tactics? What tools are they using? I sat on a sales floor with this telecommunications company. We had this one sales guy, Guy Harrelson. He was good. And I used to love his approach, and I would listen, like when he would be on the phone or he'd cold call or whatever, I would listen to him to see if there was some tools that I could take from him to put in my tool bag.
Yeah, but Doug, 20% of the people do 80% of the business. Focus on them. What are they doing differently? Why is the 80% not doing what the 20% does?
Right.
Pay attention, listen, put those little quiver, like, no matter what, and that's a lot in life, right? We see that here eventually.
Everything.
I'm glad that we have a really good team here, so we don't have to face a lot of that. We got a lot of
driven, motivated folks. Yeah, we're fortunate on that.
We don't face a lot of that, but
the bureaucracy, the crap.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to wrap up this episode, guys, on Never in Reverse podcast. Again, the power of networking. We'd love to hear what you guys have done and what you've seen on, authentic. I'd say authentic relationship building is what I would say that's most important. The power of networking is, I would say that it's the power of relationships and that. Networking to me is kind of a transaction. I think the power of a relationship is taking
more value, more depth, long term. Yep. Finding those.
So what have you guys done to do that? Not only just not for a career advancement, but maybe it led to that of a career advancement. Yeah. Maybe it led to a referral that got you a career advancement because the focus is on the people. So we'd love to hear your guys' stories. Again, we're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Leave your comments, guys. We appreciate your feedback, and thanks for joining us on this journey. We look forward to having you guys in the future, and have a wonderful weekend. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Take care.